B'siyata dishmaya. We are going to be learning here in Shari Yichud today from the Biyam Darkecha on what is the month of Cheshvan. We just finished a lot of the holidays. Today is Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan, the first of Cheshvan. Yesterday was the 30th of Tishrei. This is a beautiful month that in this month we had the flood started, and we also had the completion of the building of the Beit HaMikdash. It wasn't dedicated yet, but they completed it in Cheshvan. Cheshvan was originally the month that the Beit HaMikdash was meant to come down. And since Cheshvan, Mar Cheshvan, so to say, we call it Mar Cheshvan, the bitter Cheshvan, has no holidays in it. In the future, they say that the third temple is going to be inaugurated on the month of Cheshvan, to give it its own chag and to give it its own celebration. So we just went through a huge process of 51 days from Rosh Chodesh Elul until Hoshana Rabbah. Hoshana, na is 51, to teach you that it's 51 days from Rosh Chodesh Elul, and that whole entire process, right? We were just trying to download and to take our connection with Hashem to another level. And this light that we downloaded, that was completed on Shmini Atzeret, on Hoshana, on Simchat Torah, Shmini Atzeret, we want that light to stay with us. We want it to be strong inside of us. We don't want to lose it, and we don't want it to disappear. And therefore, after every holiday, we have what's called Isru Chag. Isru Chag is the day after a holiday, where we have, so to say, we're trying to tie down the holiday and to keep it inside of us. What's the thing in Hallel we say? Why can't I remember it right now? 1 second. Let's open up the Hallel. Ad karnot amizbeach. That's what we say. Hallel. Hine. El Adonai v'yair lanu isru hag ba'avotim ad karnot amizbeach. That our heart is towards Hashem, and Hashem will illuminate the path for us. Isru Chag. What's Isru Chag? Lasso means to tie down, to bind. The Chag, Isru Chag, ba'avotim, with strong ropes, ad karnot hamizbeach, onto the horns, the corners of the mizbeach, the altar. The altar in our inner world is our heart. We want to take all the lights of the Chag, and we want to make sure that it's tied to our heart. And that's why the Arizal instituted that we do Akafot Shniyot, another round of dancing after the holiday with the Torah. After the holiday is already done, another round of dancing. Why? We want to tie it down, right? We want to take all of this Kedusha and we want to bring it into our weekdays, into our weekday mindset. It's very easy to be a holy person on holidays and Shabbatot, but what about on a Tuesday and a Thursday? Can you stay holy then when you don't have lights coming down from up above? When it's just your everyday nitty-gritty? So that was the whole entire idea of that. We want to continue our Dveikut with Hashem and to go into it deeper and deeper. And then we get to the month of Cheshvan that starts a few days after Simchat Torah. And the Arizal says that the Yichud, the unification, that, so to say, and this is Kabbalistic terms, but whoever understands, and whoever doesn't, we'll try to explain it a little bit. But essentially, there's times of unification, there's times of impregnation, and there's times of birth. B'ezrat Hashem, it will be Leida Kala for our dear friend and his wife, B'ezrat Hashem, we have them in mind. There's times of birth. So the yichud, the unification that we had, that gave birth to impregnation, that caused the impregnation, happened on Shmini Atzeret, on Simchat Torah. When we got to Keter of Musaf, there was such a yichud that you don't have the whole entire year. And so to say, now we became pregnant. How long does that light stay with us until the birth happens? The Arizal says from Shmini Atzeret all the way until the 7th day of Pesach. Then you have birth. The birth happens. So that light comes inside on Shmini Atzeret, on Simchat Torah. The light came inside of our neshama, and it gets grown and grown like a fetus, like an embryo. And that's the work of the whole entire work of winter that's coming upon us for good. until it gets completed on Pesach, like we said. And then what does it mean to give birth? What are you giving birth to on Pesach? Meaning it becomes acquired inside of you. It becomes part of you. It becomes your nature. That on a bad day, you've fallen off, you still have a lot of things holding you up. Right? What does it mean to have nature? That your natural way of behaving and thinking in this world is rectified and pure. Right? And you don't need a holiday to feel lofty and to feel holy. No, that's who I am. That's how I am. That's what I do. That's how I think. That's how I see the world. As my nature. So that's what it means that we're going to give birth to this light. And the reason, if you read deeper into what he's saying there, essentially he's saying that this light stays with us the whole entire winter. And we have to work with this light and to acquire it and to develop it the whole entire winter until we get to Pesach. And it's known, our Rebbe, Rav Yirel Turgeman, would always say that the most important time of Avodat Hashem is in the winter, when you don't see anything, when everything's under the ground, rainy, muddy, but when you put the seed inside of there, you have to wait without seeing any fruit, without seeing any blossoming of anything you planted, and with full emunah, that you know the seed went rotten inside the ground. Now comes Pesach, you're going to have blooming flowers, and you're going to have birkat ilanot, and you're going to have the almond blossoms that we love here in Tzfat, and all the beautiful things. You have to get through the winter to get there, right? So technically, from Shmini Atzeret, which is a holiday from the Torah, until Pesach, you don't have any chagim. There is no Pesach, there is no chagim from the Torah. So you're dealing with the same light, and it's just getting developed and developed and developed. And the beginning of everything has to be b'simcha, has to be with joy. Right? The winter starts with simchat Torah, simchat Torah. We switch to start praying for rain on that day. Right? So to say, we go into winter mode on simcha, from a state of simcha. And why is it that in order to really download this light, so that we know we're giving birth to it, we have to wait till the 7th of Pesach, which is another time of Simcha, right? The rest of the development, meaning in the time when the lights come down, it's the times of joy. But when are you developing that light? Throughout all of the winter, throughout all of the hard times, the dark times. So the Simcha that we experience on a Chag, that's the ability that we have to step out of all of the grittiness of the day-to-day life, our simple lives. And that's why the Chagim are called Mikrei Kodesh, holy times. Holy times. Kriya means to call. Kodesh is holy. So it's a holy calling. You're getting called into holiness. Because you call out to the Jewish people, and all the Jewish people gather in on the holidays. And they stop whatever it was that they were busy with in this world. Right? They get to a place where they're able to stop their nitty-gritty 9 to 5s and their careers, and to stop and to be there for a Chag, to sit around the table with the family, to be there with Hashem, to arouse my connection with Hashem more. And we need this in order to really download the light, to absorb the light that's coming down. And therefore, all of the holidays are in this flow of joy, because it's something new. This new light that's coming down, and a new light, new anything has to be with simcha. You want to start something new? Do it from a place of joy. Any new light that you're getting, a light comes down, right? We just learned about this. Tzura v'chomer. So the light comes down, and you're trying to mold that light that it's going to stay with you. So it goes according to the fashion of how you mold it and how you shape it. In the beginning, that's how the light will stay. The impression of that light will stay in you. I wrote about this last night. I wrote about this, that a lot of times we get sent light from Hashem. And everything, this is back on your question that you had in Rav Yitzchak's video. Light is sent to us, and it depends how we experience it and what that light's going to do to us. Every light that we ever experience, any energy, any emotion, any thought that comes down is only coming from Hashem, and it's pure. But it could come down wrapped up in a lot of distractions or things that are meant to confuse you. For example, if fear comes down into the world. So Hashem sent you the ability to have more respect and more awe for Him. But it could come down in what I had last night, waking up to six shots outside of my window of shooting, right? I got woken up from gunshots in the middle of the night. So that fear, what do I have to do with it? Translate it to the fear of God. It's all from Hashem and it's all good. It's just in this world, sometimes things get covered up and get cloudy. Up above, it was a pure light that came down, the light of the awe of God. So now when we experience a fear, we have to translate it. How do I translate that light when it comes down to me? This is what he's saying here. A new light came down to us in Simchat Torah. Thank God we were in Simchat Torah so we could form it into a point of Simcha. This light came down, we can take it and we can use it from joy. But what happens if last night I got up scared, fearful? Oh my God, there was gunshots. I have to move my family out of Tzfat. I have to, where am I going to go? All this. Why? Because at the moment that I felt it, I didn't control it and I let it develop inside of me in a fearful way. So that light came down. It was a light from Hashem. It was pure. But how I formed it inside of me, that's how it's going to stay with me. So the same thing. Any new light that we have coming down, we want to bring it down in a place of joy. Therefore, all the times of chinuch, of education, of dedication, of inauguration, of starting something new, it has to be in a way of joy, right? How do we start them with Aleph Bet? You wrap them in a talit, take them to the cheder, and they lick honey off of the letters. Why? Let the Aleph Bet go into them with honey. They're going to remember the sweetest taste ever. Whenever they think Aleph Bet, in their 3-year-old brain, it's paired with honey, which is good. For the rest of their life, Aleph Bet is going to be a sweet thing. It's brainwashing, it is. It's conditioning the mind, fashioning, how is this light, what is the experience of schooling going to be for my child? So I remember how I started school, and it was with crying, and with watching my parents go away when I was stuck with a bunch of kids that I didn't know. I remember the feeling of my mom walking out of the school, and I remember everything, it was horrible. And you get screamed at, and you get told what to do, and it was horrible. You see Hasidic kids going into school, it's a party. It's great. That it leaves an impression. If you do that right way, the whole entire rest of your life, or the rest of the time that the light is with you, it's going to continue in a way of joy. And you're going to be able to be joyful in the weekdays as well. This is the secret of Havdalah. This is the secret of Melav Malka after Shabbat. Havdalah is to continue that your prayers should be the same way they were on Shabbat during the week. And Melav Malka, the fourth meal after Shabbat, is that the rest of your meals during the week will be still with the concept and the mindset of the meals of Shabbat. Those two things are instituted right after Shabbat, because right after Shabbat, we all feel empty, and we all feel dark, and we all feel like we lost everything, and we don't feel good, and we lose that Shabbat consciousness. Came the rabbis and instituted, after Shabbat, do Havdalah. What does that do? It helps you bridge between your Shabbat tefillot and your weekday tefillot, and then have a meal, and in that meal have the same mindset you had during Shabbat, and sing songs, and Melav Malka, and have intentions. Why? Because on Shabbat, when you ate, you were very holy. But now it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We need you to stay holy while you're eating too. Melav Malka helps you to bridge that. And something that starts in a simple way, which simple usually means down and earthly and not so joyful and not so lifted up. So then there's a fear, a suspicion that you might not want it later on. Why would you want to reconnect to something that was such an obligation and such a toil for you to do and it didn't bring any joy to you? Not in the beginning when you started it and not later. We want everything to start with joy. So we see that joy helps us to absorb and download these lights in a proper way and to leave a pleasant impression inside of us that leaves us with light. And after we absorb and we acquire this light properly, then we're able to go back to the weekdays. And that's the goal. Hashem, it says in the Midrash, HaKadosh Baruch Hu chafetz she'yeh lo dira betachtonim. Hashem desires that he should have a dwelling place in the lower realms. The lower realms is your weekdays. It's very easy to be a holy person on Shabbat and on holidays. The consciousness is there, the lights are there, everything's there for you. Hashem desires to have a connection with you in the weekday, in the mundane. So this all leads us with that understanding. Now that we finished the cycle of the holidays, so to say, we restarted at Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, but we're going into now a void of winter where we have nothing until Pesach. Chanukah and Purim are rabbinical holidays and they're super powerful. Tu B'Shvat. There's a lot of holy days that are coming up. But we don't have a biblical holiday until Pesach. And the first month that we start after all of these huge lights is called Cheshvan. Mar Cheshvan is the nickname of the month. Mar means bitter. Cheshvan, we're going to understand what it means right now. Cheshvan is called Cheshvan because Shasfatayim merachashot betorah ubetfilah. Because your lips are merachashot. Merachashot means still murmuring. What's the word, Shlomo? Murmuring?
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds right?
Like moving with the...
Exactly. Right? Like blah, 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 blah. Not blah, blah, blah. That's not what we mean. But so to say, we were so busy from Elul and Tishrei with Tefillah and Torah, we all increased our Torah and Tefillah, that our lips are still kind of in the muscle memory of moving and moving and moving. Because we prayed so much throughout all of these holy days. And the simple intention is that we got used to, in these days, we got so used to Torah and Tefillah, of praying and using our mouth in praise of Hashem and in learning the Torah, that so to say, our lips are just in a habit of moving. They've become habitualized in moving in Torah and Tefillah. So their lips are cheshvan, merachashot, are speaking still. Meaning the light of Tishrei, the light of all of the holidays, Elul and Tishrei, is still illuminating into these months. Even though the holiday already finished. It was so intense that this energy from Elul and Tishrei leaves us with the desire to still learn Torah and still pray and to still be in that same mindset. The depth in this idea is, right, simply put, our lips are still moving. Okay, our lips are still moving. What does that mean in a deeper sense? What does it mean for your lips to still be moving days, weeks removed from the holidays that caused your lips to move? The way to guard the light that we got during all of those holy times, these big lights that we got in the month of Tishrei and Elul, is by way of right now, in Cheshvan, not stopping to learn Torah and Tefillah. To keep it going, to keep the energy moving, to keep that momentum flowing, because we need vessels for all of the light that we just got. We just got a lot of light. But the number one rule in growth and spirituality is that you need lights and vessels. The lights are the experiences, the downloads, the good takeaways, right? But that light, if you don't want it to go in one ear and out the other, or just to fleet you in a second, it needs a place to rest inside of you. It does usually come down to our actions and our speech, the way that we practically act in this world and things that we do. Those are physical actions that can attain light. A person that shows up 3 times a day to pray is building vessels whether he feels light or not. But a person that has an immense prayer once in a while, okay, he felt light, but 2 hours later he has nothing left. Because he only focused on making lights and he never cared about the vessels. So yeah, all the Kabbalistic teachings in Torah, in our tradition, those are all lights. And all the halachot and the mitzvot, those are all the vessels. You need them together. You need them together. The point of the mitzvot and the halachot is to put light inside of them. Why do you create vessels? Only to put light inside of it. But why do you ever get lights? Only to keep them, to put them inside vessels. Right? So it goes both ways. We need both. On Tishrei, we got gifts, free gifts like you asked about yesterday, Rabban. Matnat chinam, free gifts from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, above all comprehension. And that gift was to recognize the truth and the oneness of Hashem. That was the whole entire gift. And we received all of that insight with love, with Dveikut, with bitul to Hashem, nullifying ourselves to Hashem. My will is great, but I want to do what you want me to do. And now we have to increase how many vessels we make in order to keep all of that light, so that we shouldn't lose it by way of the worries of this world and the things that we have to be busy with in this world. Working, getting a job, showing up, doing all these different things. It can distract us from the light of everything is Hashem. No, I have to show up to work now. I have to do this. You forget HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you forget Hashem. So now we have to increase the vessels. How do we make vessels? Torah and Tefillah. Torah and Tefillah. With power though, with passion, with a lot of tefillot, a lot of conversations to Hashem, and to do a lot of practical mitzvot, action-oriented mitzvot that involve physical actions. By way of that, a person physically connects himself to Hashem, to action. Again, we want to make the vessels are always going to be more coarse and more practical. All of that is only in order to keep the light that we got during these days. When a person fills his life with Hashem, practically, in every day, then the lights that you experience don't stay some lofty thing up there, detached, some idea far away, some God over there. A lot of times unfortunately, you see people online spreading Kabbalah and spreading all these different, and it's like, okay bro, what did that do for me in my life? Like, great, nice, but practically, what am I walking away with? What did you do? So there is room to learn Torah that you don't understand, and it just gives you makifim, it gives you these lights. Okay, but then also you have to have in the mindset that I'm learning this right now to connect to Hashem. But just to share novel, deep ideas, but it leaves me the same exact person. Like I have a friend that loves sacred geometry, always showing me this, and I'm like, okay, but and what? Connect the sacred geometry to a gematria, to a mitzvah. Teach me the sukkah now. And now when I step inside the sukkah, I have a whole different understanding. But just to show me this diagram, this is the tree of life. Great, and what? So what? Could care less. Tell me something. Show me something. Make me a better person. Like the Maruch Hu says, if a person's not working on their midot, it'd be better that they don't put on tefillin. What's the point of putting on tefillin? What's the point of doing a mitzvah if you're not trying to become a better person? So it goes both ways. The mitzvah will make you a better person. But you have to have the mindset that I'm trying to do this act in order to become better, in order to change myself and my nature and my core. So when a person lives that way, and they go into Cheshvan with the mindset, I need to keep my tefillah going, I need to keep my Torah going, and I have to do physical actions. Why? Because I want to keep all the light that I just got. I don't want it to shatter me, and I don't want to lose it. So you had a great Rosh Hashanah, and then what? Right, this goes also, people go to Uman, and they amazing experience, and then they come back to Eretz Yisrael, like, what just happened? What was that all about? Sometimes it takes the month of Cheshvan to go in the same energy just to download what happened in Uman, just for you to understand it, to make it real inside your kishkas, so that you can live it. Because the power of working hard in Torah and Tefillah is that a person goes into the mode of living everything in a vital, vibrant, alive, spiritual way. And then you're able to see the world with a true perspective, a Torah perspective, and not what you think of the world. The more Torah you learn and the more prayers you do, the Torah teaches you how to look at the world properly. And the prayers allow you to improve your relationship with Hashem. What's the outcome of looking at the world the right way and having a relationship with Hashem? You stay healthy and you stay balanced and you don't lose throw your toys out the trolley when things don't go right. No, you understand. I have to understand that Hashem's behind everything and I'm infinitely connected to Hashem, so what could go wrong? Everything's okay when you have a relationship with Hashem. What's lacking in the palace of the king? Nothing. Nothing's wrong there. Everything's under control. So we have to keep this up. And by way of that, so then you won't fall from the connection to Hashem that you got when you crowned Hashem over you throughout Elul and Tishrei. Because anything that happens to you, immediately you're just going to seek out, Eloi Bekirbi, I need Hashem in my midst. How do I bring Hashem into the situation? Or how do I reveal Hashem here in this situation? And you strengthen your mind, and no matter what happens to you, you're trying to reveal Hashem there. And that causes a person to only come closer and to not get distanced. So now you're going to go from an immense period of holidays into a void of darkness until we get to spring. How do you not distance yourself? How do you not fall into the slumber, into the sleep, the hibernation of the winter, where nothing can be seen outside and everything is brown and dirty and rainy? How do you stay close to Hashem? How do you keep the relationship going where you don't feel like you're getting distanced? This is the way. This is the way. Torah, Tefillah, and Mitzvot in an action-oriented way, where I know that all of them I'm doing in order to stay close to Hashem. And there's another level of depth here, which is all about downloading the light. In the holidays, again, we receive the gift from Hashem. And now we have to work in order to acquire it. It was given to us as a gift. Now we have to put in the work. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, those are gifts. Like Pesach is a gift. And then you have a 49-day period of acquiring it. So too now is the period of acquiring all the lights that we got during Elul and Tishrei. And the acquisition comes from us doing an action on our side. The fact that Rosh Hashanah happened, that's because God determined that it was going to happen. Yom Kippur, be'etzem hayom hazeh. At the core of this day, who determined that there would be a day like that though? God. You did nothing for it. If you just fast on Yom Kippur and don't do anything, you're clean. You didn't do anything.
It's like you get a kid a Lego set, right? He's stoked when he sees
the picture on the box.
No, it's going to take a little work.
Exactly. And you have to follow the manual that you got with it to know how to do it properly, right? Exactly the point. Anything that you receive as a gift, we talk about this here. We hate gifts. I didn't talk about it here. Sorry, I talked about it in New York, but it's on YouTube. Right? That Chazal says a person should hate gifts. Why? Because the gift came from the side of the giver. I didn't do anything to deserve it. So it's what's called motarot. It's excess. Excess only causes more judgments in my life. Why do I want judgments in my life? Why should you be trying to receive gifts? Something you didn't earn. So on the side of the giver, he had pure intentions. But on the side of the receiver, you shouldn't like gifts. Because you're getting something you did nothing for. But matana is the same letters as hamtana. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted a gift, like you talked about, of forgiveness. 13 midot of rachamim, of forgiveness. That was a gift. Moshe Rabbeinu even asked for it to be a gift. But then he waited 40 days to get it. And the waiting is what made it that it wasn't that he did nothing to deserve it. No, you did something to deserve it. You waited and you tried to download it.
He comes to purify himself, they say to him, Hamtin.
Exactly. It's all connected, right? Reb Nachman says this, he brings, when a person wants to purify themselves, they tell him, wait. So this power of waiting, it's in Torah Vav, 6 Torah Likutei Moran.
Yeah, ready to be.
It gets you, right? You're making yourself, by way of waiting, you're preparing yourself to come into existence, to receive whatever it was that was given to you. So on the holidays, we all got a gift. But the light of that gift can't drill into you completely. It can only reach your nefesh. Your nefesh meaning your lower level of your soul, and that's how you have a relationship with it. And then in your nefesh, which is connected to your body, you have to start to do actions. And by way of your body acting in that way, you start to elevate it and it goes higher and higher. And it ascends and becomes an acquisition, it becomes part of you. But you see from this that the light of the holiday hits you on your lowest level, and that's why oftentimes after a holiday a person feels empty. They feel darkness, they feel empty, they feel like they didn't get anything. Why? Because all of the lights that you got were a gift. That means that they were above your level. They're above your pay grade. You don't even understand how to download and to work with those lights. They were all above you. Hashem gave it to you as a gift. You never made an acquisition from your own efforts to get those lights. So obviously, when the holiday finishes, you feel empty because you never really had it to begin with. It's not acquired inside of you. It's not part of you. Therefore, as soon as the anan ole, as soon as the cloud lifts, meaning the holiday passes, and the lights go away, you feel empty. Because the neshama got used to feeling light on a high level, on a Rosh Hashanah level, on a Yom Kippur level. Your neshama was finally like, wow, this is what I remember from up above. But it really wasn't hers. It didn't belong to your neshama. It was an experience. So after the holiday, we have to put in a lot of work. So we shouldn't lose that light. And the way to acquire a light starts from down below. Meaning practical work and increase Torah and Tefillah. I have to seek out to increase my work down here in order to create vessels to download this light. And this is the opposite of what we got on the illumination of the holiday itself. On the holiday itself, the main thing was on the light and less in vessels, right? On Shabbat, what do you have to do? Okay, so you pray and you eat. All of that is light. What you don't have to. You don't put on tefillin. You don't. There's no practical mitzvahs so much to do, and even on Shabbat.
Fridays for vessels.
Right? But and Pesach, take this food out of your house, bring this food into your house, and be happy for 7 days. Sukkot, you go out of your house, build this little hut, sit there, and be happy for 7 days. Shake these leaves, but there's not so much to do because on the holiday we're dealing with light. Everything's about the light. We don't make vessels so much. But now, after the holiday, the work is all to increase vessels. It's all about making vessels. With hard work, with strength, with a lot of effort. It's not an easy thing to do. And by way of that, then we get the light that was gifted to us in a complete way. Because now we made a vessel and the light has a place to rest inside of it. There's a long footnote here. 2 pages, go ahead.
In fact, every minute you learn in your sukkah, it's like learning for an hour during the rest of the week. And isn't that building vessels by learning?
Any action you do is a vessel, but that's not what you're commanded to do. Like, what are the commandments? What are the mitzvot of the day? Soak up light. Sit in the sukkah. What's the number one thing you have to do in Sukkot? Not learn Torah in the sukkah. Sit in the sukkah. Just be. That's just be surrounded by the lights. You don't have to do anything. If you learn Torah, great. Okay, it adds up to this, that. That's all bonus. What is your job during Sukkot? Sit in the sukkah. That's it. The first day the Torah tells you, take 4 species and shake them. The rest of the days, rabbinical. So what does the Torah want you to do? 7 days? Shiva yamim tishvu b'sukkot. 7 days you shall sit inside Sukkot. 7 days you're meant to sit. That's the commandment. On Rosh Hashanah, what's the commandment? Remember Hashem. Remember Hashem. On Yom Kippur, what's the commandment? Don't do 5 things and remember Hashem. It's all about light. There's not so much to do. You get the point? Afterwards, we have to make it. We have to make the...
So, appropriate time for a side thought? Or you want to get...
1 second, I'm about to finish. This idea brings us to an idea that I want to explain very shortly, which is the idea of gadlut and katnut. Expansion and constriction. A mature mindset, an adult mind that sees the bigger picture, and the childlike mind that is very limited and constricted. On a holiday, obviously, in relation, right? So then that's gadlut. You see the clarity of God. Shabbat, right? If a person annoys you on Shabbat, most likely you'll be able to brush it off. Same exact thing happens on a Tuesday. It might hurt a little bit more. You might give a reaction. What's the difference? When all the lights are there and they have a complete clarity as what is God and what is my role in this world and that everything came from Hashem and the person that came to annoy me, he's also from Hashem, and the person that came to praise me, he's also from Hashem. It's all Hashem. It's very easy to stay holy and to stay aligned. But what happens when those lights get taken away from you and your mind is constricted and it doesn't make so much sense and it's not so clear to you? Then it gets a lot harder. That's the childlike mind where you don't see the bigger picture and you're stuck in yourself and you're like a katan, you're like a child that only thinks about his own realm and his own issues. The truth is though that what is really acquired, what you've acquired and what you've made yours can only be proven in the times of katnut, in the times when you're constricted, in the times where it's not so clear to you. What's really you? When you're stripped of all the light and all the expansion, what are you left with? So now we're going into the time of the winter. Winter, if you had to compare it to summer, is the katnut to the gadlut. In the summer, everything is shining, it's clear, there's clarity, it makes sense, it feels good, the weather is great. And in the winter, you have exactly the opposite. But according to what we learned today, Cheshvan kicks off this idea of putting in this extra effort from a place of depth, from a place of true inner Dveikut, that even if I don't see any of the lights out there, there's no holiday for me to tap into, Hashem's not revealing himself in a strong way in the world, I still stay internally connected no matter what. Internally, without any revelations, I know that deep down inside, I'm a soul That means I'm connected to Hashem. I am a light from up above, and that's my true core, not all the externalities. And if we can understand that and have that more clear in our mindset, then it helps us to get through all of the hardships of Katnut, of the winter, where we're going to feel distance, we're going to feel not desired, or we don't want to desire, we don't want Hashem, Hashem doesn't want us. All of those, we could only ever think that based on externalities. The inner truth is that there's no reality at all that we could be separate from Hashem. There's no way in the world that Hashem wouldn't want us. And deep down, we only ever want Hashem. If we can download that and understand that truly, what am I acquiring? What has been acquired by me already? What have I downloaded? Now that everything's going to be taken away from me and I'm going to go months without a holiday, am I still going to act like a tzaddik? Or do I need always a pick-me-up? Do I need the mikveh? Do I need this? Do I need the holiday? Do I need that? Do I need that person? Do I need that book? Do I need that situation? Because Hashem doesn't change. Hashem's always there. Ani avaya lo shiniti. Me Hashem, I never changed. So if Hashem never changed, so then what's the difference between Shabbat and Monday? Why do you have Monday blues, Sunday blues? Why do you have down after Shabbat, but on Shabbat 4 hours before that you're in Sudah Shishit flying? How could it be that after a few hours after Sudah Shishit you feel like a Rasha when just before that you're a tzaddik? What changed? The strength of the revelation of Hashem's light. But once that light gets stripped away from you, you have to now check what's true. What did I acquire? And if you feel like you haven't acquired enough, so then you have to work on your vessels. You have to work on your vessels. This is our life mission. Ohot v'kilim. Lights and vessels. Lights and vessels. You experience something big. Afterwards, go learn some Torah. Read some Tehillim. Give tzedakah. Do something physical, practical, to make a vessel and say, Hashem, here, this is my vessel for that Shabbat. Shabbat was so amazing. Here's 10 shekel to tzedakah. Just to be able to keep some of that light of that Shabbat. And this works. You read 2 pieces of Tehillim just to say, this is my vessel for that light. That was an amazing Shacharit, beautiful Hallel. Here's a vessel to keep that light. And you give a couple coins, you read a little bit of Torah, you read a little bit of Tefillah. This is the most important thing. To have Ohot v'Kilim, to have lights and vessels. This is the yichud between all of the Kabbalah and all of the Torah. That was the chidush of the Arizal. That Kabbalah is not something separate from halachot, from mitzvot, from the everyday actions. They're intrinsically connected, and they'll stay that way for eternity. If a person wants to learn Kabbalah, they have to keep halacha. And that's halacha is all the laws and the actions and the mitzvot that we're commanded to do. Halacha is otiyot, is the letters hakala, the bride. You keep halacha, you have a relationship to the Shekhinah. If you only want a relationship to the Shekhinah without keeping halacha, no, she doesn't want you back. It goes 2 ways. You have to respect Hashem. Hashem gave you a book of laws and instructions and actions to do. The more you do it, the more of His light you'll be able to retain and to keep inside of you. Be'ezrat Hashem itbarach, may we have a chorif bari, a healthy and blessed winter. The Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh was known to say that we have the nights of gold in the winter. The nights of gold. What is the nights of gold? The golden nights of the winter, that they're so long that you're able to learn Torah and download so much light in these nights. So don't take them too much for sleeping. Use them for Torah learning. Use these nights, which are nights that are able to take you to high levels of connection to Hashem and understanding. Quiet nights where there's nothing to be found outside. It's too cold to go outside. It's raining. It's not pleasant. Stay inside with a little candle, with a little light. Connect to Hashem. And be in Dveikut with Hashem. And if you do that, by the time that the splitting of the sea comes and all the Shefa comes down on the 7th of Pesach, when we give birth to this light, we'll see, what did we acquire? What did we develop? What did we take from Rosh Hashanah and Tishrei and Elul? And what do I get now in the spring that everything's going to come to fruition, into blossoming? That's the goal of the winter. This is the mindset that we have to be in. To not get started from the rain and the darkness and the mud. To know that that's what it is. That's what it is. Ask any farmer in the world, or Rav Torjman always used to say this, ask any farmer in the world, when is the number one most important time to be a farmer? Winter. The most important work is done? Winter. It all happens now. So too, we Jews are classically agricultural people. We're all farmers at our core. And in our Avodat Hashem, our farm, right? In Avodat Hashem, our service of God, is the farm. When's the most important work? Now. From Rosh Chodesh until Pesach, we're working hard to make true acquisitions, true downloads, to become better people that are more connected to Hashem Yitbarach. Amen. Ken Yiratzon.